Alright, on this video we're talking about everything I took with me to British Columbia on my elk hunt this past September. I'm going to go through all these items on the table. There's also some in the bag that were obviously mentionable things, but not necessarily anything I would fit on the table. I just built this table a couple days ago because I wanted something out here, so this is actually perfect timing. I used also a bunch of scrap wood that I had up top in the barn, which really worked out. So we're going to use it, and I'm going to show you everything here that I took with me, what I liked, what I didn't like, what worked, what didn't, and what I would bring again. Alright, so I think what we'll do is we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. On my feet, I wore Lowa Tibet GTX. I can't say enough good things about these boots. This is a leather boot, German made. It's got a rubber rand all the way around, Vibram sole. There's a lot of features on this boot that were perfect for the trip that I was taking and have been perfect as a hunting boot, an all-around hunting boot that I've worn this season, even after returning from mountain hunting. So this boot is fantastic. I do have a breakdown of all the features of this boot on another video. Check that out if you want to learn more about the Lowa Tibet GTX. These took less time to break in than I thought. Actually, almost no time to break in. I put them on, I want to say maybe a handful of times, definitely less than 10 times before leaving on the trip, and I had no issues. Absolute zero issues. I had no hot spots. I didn't have any rubbing. My feet were perfect in here. They are great. The only thing that they are not is insulated. So now that it's the winter time, winter is here, it's December, your feet will eventually get cold in these. So that's something to think about. My body temperature normally runs pretty hot, so I don't mind wearing these around, even hunting in the winter time. But if I sit for too long and I'm not moving around, I will start to feel the cold getting into my feet. So these boots are absolutely fantastic, no issues whatsoever. I would buy these over and over and over and over and over again, for sure. These side hilling, going down steep angles, going up steep angles, they were fantastic boots. I can't say enough good things about this boot. So do yourself a big favor, if you're in the market for boots, check out the Lowa Tibet GTX, try them on, make sure, give them a fair shot to the other boots in this segment. Awesome, awesome, awesome boot. Now for pants, we'll start with the underclothing I had underneath the pants. I have a Merino Base Layer. It's made by a company called Paradox. I bought these from Costco. Fantastic merino layer. It's got a little bit of a neck to it and full sleeve. The sleeves have got the holes for your fingers or for your thumb, and it's just a fantastic bit of base layer. Wicks sweat away from your body, and it's perfect. I wear this year round. Spring, fall, winter. I always have this on underneath my hunting gear. Awesome. Whatever base layer you're using, I recommend the merino. It doesn't smell. You wear this. I wore this for 10 days straight and didn't get a lot of body odor. It didn't reek. It wasn't put off by my stench. It really great stuff, and I highly recommend wearing some sort of merino base layer. For the pants, I went with the Sitka Timberline Pants. These pants are, I think they're absolutely amazing for a number of reasons. They are kind of marketed as the later season pant, although again, I wore these year round. I wore them in the spring, I wore them in the fall, and I wore them in the winter. Now I will say, They don't have any kind of serious lining to them to keep you warm. So I did find that even with the base layer on and these in the wintertime, you will, if the temperature dips too much, like I was at a tree stand at -10 and I was starting to feel it. So I did put on a pair of, another pair of pants that had like a fleece lining to it, and then put these over top, and I was just fine at that point. So certain temperatures, when they do drop, you will need to get something to put either instead of these or something to wear under these that's stronger than just your base layer. For the future, I'm hoping to pick up the Traverse bibs because they have the Berber fleece lining, which will help with keeping me warm in the wintertime. But these are fantastic. Again, I did a breakdown of all the features of these pants as well. If you want to watch that, check out that video. They do have knee pads, foam knee pads, which are great when you got to get down. You got to get down and either crawl around or try and make yourself small. They're great to keep the low impact on your knees. Just an all-around fantastic pant. Now I can also say this buckle that you do up at the front here is stitched 3 times, and I will say, wearing multiple layers underneath these pants, which technically they're not really designed to do, I will say I stressed this buckle out a bit, to be completely honest, and it didn't fail at all. When I was putting on that thicker pair of pants and then these over top, I was like, I am going to completely destroy this buckle, and it's either going to rip completely free from the pants or I'm going to have an issue, and I didn't. Very strong, solid, well constructed. I love these pants. Again, another thing I would buy over and over and over again. They're so soft and quiet. They're just an incredible pair of pants. So definitely Sitka Timberline pants for the win. My son was wearing the mountain pants, which he really liked. They did not, so this has the reinforced knees, reinforced and waterproof knees and seat, which was great because I could just sit down anywhere and not worry about having any wet surface kind of penetrate through here and make me uncomfortable. The mountain pants don't have that, so that's just something to think about, whether you care about that or not. So again, awesome pair of pants. Wear these over and over and over again. On the top, so again, I had the Merino Paradox base layer, and then I had the Sitka Core lightweight hoodie. This thing is great. It almost, when you put it on for the first time, you almost feel like, why did I buy this? It's so thin, it's not going to do anything. It really does. It's part of the layering system. Again, it helps keep moisture away from your body. It's very soft, it's very quiet, it's got a built-in face mask. A lot of the times other layers would also have face masks. I would just use this hood, this face mask, and then the other hoods if I needed them. But this is amazing, especially in the spring. Like for spring bear, I'll go in, it'll be cold in the morning, but then you'll get in and it'll get hot throughout the day, and then it'll get cold again in the evening. So I would wear this and the next layer, which is the Core Midweight Zip T. This is probably one of my, when I'm putting these on, this is my favorite layer. It's got this grid fleece that is so comfortable to wear. I don't know how to describe it. It's like getting the best hug you've ever had and having it last all day long. So this over top of the Core lightweight hoodie was a great mix. Doesn't have a hood. It's just got the little bit of a neck to it, long sleeves again. So I would wear this in, take this off for spring bear, and then put it back on when I was walking out. It was great. Perfect layer. did really good things for me in BC, kept me warm. And over top of that, when it got really cold, I go to the Sitka Traverse hoodie. Now this thing is wicked because, again, quiet, soft material. The inside is Berber fleece. So warm, so comfortable, it's amazing. I've worn this again in the stand. All these layers with this and the jacket that I'm going to talk about next in the stand in the wintertime, and I've been fine. Perfectly fine with all these layers on. Again, I'd like to get the matching Traverse bibs because they will also have this Berber fleece in the legs, which will keep me warm all the way through for those winter seasons. There's also the Fanatic line, which is the winter line to look at, but definitely an awesome layer. Something to think about if you're thinking about different systems. Sitka does have a lot of different types of garments that you can wear and layer and put on top of each other, so you can't go wrong with this setup. It's been perfect for me. And then of course my absolute favorite is this Jetstream Jacket, DWR coated. So is the Traverse hoodie, DWR coated, so it will keep some water out. Again, if it's completely downpouring for hours, I'd go to the rain gear, but if you're going to be, you know, in a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain, you're fine with the DWR coated stuff. I've been in tree stands when it's been raining, I've been fine. Walking to and from, I've been fine. Didn't penetrate at all. Now again, if it's going to be teeming down rain, you're going to want to switch to your rain gear. This jacket's wicked. The inside is lined with a fleece, and it's also got all of the seams are taped to keep the wind out. So awesome, this jacket. I love it, I love it, I love it. It's got a great hood on it with a wicked peak. It'll go over and cover the tip of your hat if you're wearing a hat like this. It's just very, very well thought out, very, very comfortable, very functional stuff, and it works incredibly well as a layering system. I know it's expensive, but from my experience with it, it's been absolutely incredible in the field. And I will tell you a story. This clothing saved me. When I was in the mountains of BC hunting elk, the temperature dropped from 17 degrees Celsius during the day to 0 at night. And what happened was we moved camp from the base of the mountain up the mountain to a great spot. We set up, had some food, found some elk sign, went to bed, and I wasn't wearing all of my clothing system. I only had some lighter layers on. I got into my sleeping bag, which I've had this sleeping bag for so long I can't even tell what kind of rating it is, but it's a synthetic bag and it's always kept me warm. I've had no issues with it. I woke up in the middle of the night and it was about 0, maybe even -1, and I was shivering. And I thought to myself, you idiot, what are you doing? You should have known better. You should have gone to bed with all of your layers on. And I kind of had like a Force Ghost moment, like in Star Wars, not to nerd out, but I heard John Barklow in my head just be like, rewarm yourself, do what I told you. And he's done videos about getting your temperature back up when you're cold and using this clothing to do it, and that's exactly what I did. I got out of the sleeping bag, I put every single layer that I had on. I had a Helly Hansen toque that I put on, and I also had the Traverse gloves, which are in here, which are an awesome warm glove, again lined with fleece. Wicked, keep you warm. They're still thin enough that you can shoot your bow with it, and you can really use your fingers well. You can also use devices with screens if you need to. These are amazing. I would buy these again and again and again. I put all this stuff on, got back in my sleeping bag, and I started to feel my temperature going back up. And that is a true story. So I swear by this stuff now. I also had a time in the fall when I was, or in the spring when I was putting my dock in at my cottage. I had waders on, and I had this stuff with me because I was doing some scouting, and I got into the water and the waders, I got a little bit too deep. Water went in. I had a synthetic shirt on, t-shirt on, and synthetic underwear. Everything got wet. I got out of the water. I took the waders off and knew how this functional Sitka gear works. I put my base layer on. I put my Timberline pants on. I put all of these layers on. I put the core lightweight hoodie and the lightweight Zip T on, and I put the Jetstream Jacket on, and I drove home in my truck. I was wet. My shirt was soaking wet. My underwear was soaking wet. I put this stuff on, and I left. And the drive was about 2 hours to my house. And when I got home, my shirt, my synthetic t-shirt underneath, all of this was completely dry, and my underwear was completely dry. So this stuff does work. It does wick moisture away from your body. It does dry things out that are synthetic very, very, very well. Next, I'm going to talk about the Outdoor Research Foray 2 rain jacket. This thing is so light, you don't even, like, you look at the price of it and you're like, oh my god, is this really worth that much money? I think they're around $300 Canadian. This jacket is amazing. I wore this when I was hunting and when I wasn't hunting as well. It's got a wicked hood that you can cinch. I've done another video about this jacket as well if you want to check that out in more detail. It's Gore-Tex. Enough said, it's going to keep the rain away. All of the seams are taped. You're not going to get any penetration in here. I've had no issues with this jacket in terms of having any failures. Every time it rained, when I had it on, it did its job. It kept me dry. It's got a couple of pockets. It's got some side zips that will completely unzip the jacket all the way up to your armpit, should you need a break in the heat if you get hot under there, I guess. But just a wicked jacket. I highly recommend it. You can pack it up. Now, the only thing I wish it had was like a little bag like this. Like this is the Mystery Ranch pack cover. If it had, the rain jacket could fold up into something like that, it'd be great. What I just do is just fold it up like this, and I put it in the front of my bag, so it's easily accessible. This jacket's amazing. I did buy one size larger than I normally wear. So I'm a big guy, I'm 6'2", and I'm normally in a 2XL for the Sitka gear clothing. I bought this in a 3X because I knew that I was going to be putting this over potentially over top of every single one of these other layers, and I'm glad I did. It's been great. You really got to pay attention to sizes with any clothing company because I find that some are way off compared to others. You look at their size chart and like the chest size for a 2XL is something that would be for an extra large in another company. So you really got to keep your eyes open on that when you're buying stuff online when you can't try it on, because a lot of this stuff you can't find. It's next to impossible to find in a store. If you do, they might not have your size. So either go to the store and try it on, or really take a serious look at the size chart on the websites before you buy anything. Next, we're going to talk about the Outdoor Research Gaiters. So these are the Crocodile GORETEX Gaiters. There's a number of different gaiters on their website. I have worn these a few times. I haven't had multiple seasons with them. But again, it's Gore-Tex. It's going to keep you dry. They were fantastic for me in BC. They've been great for me here in the winter and in the rain. One thing that was brought up to me by a couple of people, which I'm noticing now, I have not had an issue with this as of yet, but I can see it being a problem, is the location of the buckle. So these are Velcro. They go around the bottom of your leg, There's another Velcro tab at the bottom, and then there's a hook. So what happens is this piece here is adjustable. It goes underneath your boot. So you'll fit it into the bottom base of your boot like that, so that you're not actually stepping on the... Wait, stop. Sometimes when I do these videos, the autofocus loves to focus on other things than who's talking in front of the camera. And sometimes that leads to blurry footage, and sometimes that means that I have to re-record things. I wasn't about to bring everything back out here and set it up exactly how it was to try and trick you into thinking that everything was fine. Sometimes these things happen, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go over the things that did not turn out properly when I was editing, so here we go. When talking about the gaiters, the Outdoor Research Crocodile Gaiters, they are a GORETEX gaiter. This piece goes on the bottom, underneath the sole. So you're not, this should be tight enough that you're not stepping on this constantly. So it looks like this. There's a hook here that swings around and hooks on the bottom of the boot. And then you can proceed to do the Velcro up from there. I've had a couple of complaints about these from other people who have used them, who said that the location of this buckle needs to change because it's very close to the bottom of your leg where you're going to be stepping on things, stepping into things, crashing against things that could break, rubbing against your boot, things of that nature. It would be nice if that got relocated somewhere else. But they're GORETEX, they're going to be waterproof. Whenever I wore them, whether I was walking around in the rain, going through rivers, streams, things of that nature, I was completely dry. My boots never got wet when I had these on. So that's the GORETEX Crocodile Outdoor Research Gaiters. Again, I've only used this for one season, so I can't talk about longevity and how well they do, but I'll definitely do a long-term review when I have the opportunity. So next we're going to talk about the Flexsolar 40-watt solar panel. This thing is awesome. I did a lot of research about these solar panels. There are a bunch of them that are on the market that are compact like this. They fold up to be about the size of a novel, of a hardcover book. A lot of them that are designed for like cell phone charging, battery charging, which is what I was doing. I was charging power banks. I have two power banks here. My idea was I'd have one fully charged in my bag, away I go, and maybe plug the other one in at camp and then come back to have it fully charged. This particular solar panel is larger and stronger than the other ones in its place of similar value. This is a 6-panel solar panel. It is waterproof and flexible. These are flexible pads. Most of the ones in this, some of the other panels you cannot do that to, and they're also not waterproof. It takes a regular USB, a USB-C, and an RC cable, so you've got lots of options there in terms of charging. I found that with the 40-watt, it's got a better output of power, and you can charge things just slightly faster than the ones that are, say, 28 watts or 22 watts or things of that nature. So I really like this. I did use it in BC a little bit. We did have a lot of cloud cover and some smoke from some neighboring fires that really covered up the sun, so I didn't get a lot of chance to really use this to its full potential, but it does work. Charges these great, and then we'll also charge this little device, which was a lifesaver out in the backcountry. This is a portable battery charger for the Nikon batteries that I need for my Nikon camera that you're watching me through right now. I have a Nikon D5600. It's a small camera. It takes these batteries. and I was worried because the battery charger that comes with the camera you have to plug into the wall. I thought I'd have to buy like 6 or 7 of these, charge them and then bring them with me. Thankfully I found this on Amazon. This is a great little device. It holds 2 batteries. It's got a micro USB that you can plug in to charge. It lasted the whole trip. When I got home, it stopped working. And what happened, there's a connection issue in here. On the trip I had to wrap the cord around to get it on a certain angle in order for it to charge, because there was a bad connection in here. Even though that's the case, I would still buy this again. You can hear it's rattling in there. I would still buy this again because this saved me when I was out in the backcountry, because I kept my batteries charged. It was amazing. I plugged this into my Anker power bank or this other generic one that I have, and they were great. They were awesome. So that really worked out, and coupled with the solar panel, everything, this is a great setup for being out away from modern day electricity. So in terms of water filtration, I did buy a SteriPen and bring a SteriPen. I didn't have to use the SteriPen because we had brought a lot of water with us, and then we also I have aqua tabs in my bag that I also used when we ran out. So this is a great, I've done another video on this if you want more details about it, but this thing is really awesome. It is rechargeable, which is very handy. It will basically purify a liter of water. You stick this in the water. It's like a portable UV light. Once these prongs here are in the water, the light will activate and you can stir. And I think it's about, you stir it for a certain amount of time, it'll tell you on the screen, and then once you're purified, you're good to go. So very helpful that way. A little smiley face will show up on the screen letting you know that you're good and purified and good to go. So that is good to have. I didn't actually, like I said, have to use it, but if I do, it's in my bag. The Gerber saw, I did not use it on this trip because we didn't get an elk down, but I have used this on whitetail. This little saw is so handy. It's so compact, nice and small. It's got this cool carrying case. It's got a great rubber handle that's very easy to hold on to. It's got these gripping parts on the back, nice part for your thumb, and it's very razor sharp. I've cut through rib cages with this. I've cut deer all the way up to their esophagus. It's a fantastic little tool and an awesome thing to stow away in your bag should you have an animal down and need to use a saw. So this is a great option. This is a Gerber saw, fantastic for hunting. Sitting down on the ground, sitting on rocks, sitting on logs can get old fast. This is a Thermarest seat. It's a foldable, compact little seat for you to sit on. It is rippled here, so it does have a little bit of cushion to it, not very much, but just enough to be better than sitting on the flat, hard ground. And it folds up nicely and can be stowed away in your bag or on your bag. I put it on the bottom here, underneath this little attachment here. Tucks itself away nicely. I don't have to worry about it, think about it. It's not going to fall off, but it's there if I need it, which is awesome. Now I'm going to get into the Mystery Ranch Beartooth 80. We took 2 packs on this trip. My son came with me. He had the Mystery Ranch Metcalf, which is an awesome bag. I've done another video about that. Check that out. It is a very cool kind of do everything backpack. It's the most popular one in the Mystery Ranch lineup. This one is slightly larger and I wanted a little bit more space, so that's what I went with the Beartooth 80. What's cool about this bag, a lot of cool things about this bag. These things are so rugged and strong, it's incredible. We were not gentle with these things. Now we weren't, we were tossing them around in and out of trucks, carrying them around. They were on the ground. We weren't babying these things at all, and they took every little bit that we gave it and gave so much back. They're extremely comfortable to wear. They can be adjustable to multiple sizes. Again, I've done a very in-depth review on this bag already, so check that out if you want to learn about more details about the features in it. But one of my favorite parts is this lid. The only thing that I am not overly thrilled about is the only time this really starts to feel like a lid is when the bag is full and this is basically sitting up on the top and kind of cradles over. Otherwise, when it's not super full, it kind of slumps down and becomes extra weight, which again, not a huge deal. It's not that bad, but when I think of a lid, I think of what's on, say, the treehouse, which comes right around the top, hugs down, clips in lower on the side of the frame, and is an actual pull down lid, where this will just stay here hanging around. I mean, you can cinch it and make it a little bit more like that, like a lid, but anyway, it's great. So these two pockets, I put everything that I'm going to need that might be immediate. So, you know, quick action things will go in here. There's some calls in here, toothbrush in here. I've got some fire starters. I've got some charging cables. I've got my headlamps. I've got 2 headlamps, the Petzl, and I've got a rechargeable one as well, which is also great. But the only thing I don't like about this one is it'll die and it won't give you any warning, which sucks when you're walking around and all of a sudden you're walking around in the dark. I think this top bag, this top portion is slightly larger than the bottom one. But either way, I put whatever I'm going to need in here. So this is going to be a tourniquet just in case. I've got some batteries, some hand warmers. I've got a tree saw. I've got some camera gear, and then I've got this. These are the aqua tabs that I use to disinfect our water instead of using the SteriPen. It's great. You throw 1 tablet per liter of water. It's fantastic. There's a lot of clips on this bag. I like clips, so it doesn't really bother me, but it can be kind of a pain sometimes when you want to get into it, and you got a lot of things to undo. It's got a 270-degree horseshoe zipper that goes all the way around. These zippers are like really well protected from the elements. They've got like this coating cover over top, which is awesome. So there is an outer pocket here that is not accessible to any other part of the bag. So I've got like paracord, I've got my rain gear, I've got my pack fly in here as well. So like quick grabbing stuff goes in there. One thing I would love to see them change on this bag, and this goes for all of these bags, but it also goes for other bags in the market. I believe, don't quote me on it, but I believe Faro has the same thing. These little Velcro tabs are so important and so helpful, because once you have your bag cinched down, you just roll up the excess. It's not flapping around, it's not getting in the wind, it's not waving to animals, letting them know where you are. You just do up the Velcro and put it away, and it's fantastic. The problem with these is they're not attached to anything. They're very easy to lose, and then then it's useless. It would take no time at all. The end of these are already stitched. Throw a stitch or 2 on here to secure these. Problem solved. That would be incredible. I would love to see that happen in the future. Again, there may be a reason why they don't do that. I don't know, but it would be super helpful, and you wouldn't have an issue with losing anything. Now, there are different ways to maneuver this bag, as I learned. If you keep the zippers, there's 2 zippers, if you keep them in the middle and you just need to kind of quickly go in there, That will alleviate you from having to undo all of the buckles. So you can leave, maybe just undo the one here and then the one on the two on the side, and you can get into it. But there's a lot of buckles. Another thing I like is that the zipper doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So you're not going to have a yard sale and have stuff fall out. As you can see here, it keeps the contents held nicely inside. There's some internal storage here that you can tuck things away if you need to in this mesh. So this is a fantastic bag. It's got a water bladder pocket, which then the hose comes up. It can go left or right out of the back, and then comes around onto your harness and or on your shoulder strap. It's got this little fabric pullover, this stretchy strap here, which will hold your hose in place and not have it flap around and go missing on you. So it's an awesome bag. I love it. I've even cinched it down and taken it up in the tree for whitetail, which it's still a little big for that, but it is doable if you only wanted one bag for everything. So that's what I really like about this. It's very, very much a multi-use bag. You can blow it up and put lots of stuff in it, or you can cinch it down and use it for smaller things. The other cool part about this lid is that if you're, say you want to go minimal, you can turn this into its own little backpack. You just stretch out the straps and you can wear it like a backpack if you just want to take that in with you. Or leave this at camp and take the rest of the bag with you. Lots of options. It's a very cool system, very cool bag. I'm very happy with my purchase. And I think you can't really go wrong with any of the Mystery Ranch packs. They've been around as one of the leaders in the industry for a long time. I've even cinched this down and taken it whitetail hunting in the tree stand. So these bags are very compactable, they're very strong, they're made very well. They will take a lot of abuse, and they're built by a company that stands behind their product. So check out Mystery Ranch and all the bags they have to offer. Because I am very happy with my purchase, and it really did me well using this in the backcountry. I had this fully loaded. I had all my gear, camera gear. I must have had, I'm going to say probably without everything it was around 45, and probably with everything it was closer to 55, maybe even 60 pounds. So I was lugging some weight out there, and I felt great. You can really carry a lot and not feel like you're carrying a lot with these bags. So we're going to get back to the rest of the video now. So here we go. This is the Hikenture inflatable pillow. Another great thing. Again, I did another video on this if you want to check that out. It's got a valve here. You just unclick it. To your desired fullness, and away you go. It's a great pillow. It was comfortable. I slept very well on it. It deflates. It's got a little bit of a crease in it for your head, which is wicked. It's got a kind of a really suede-y kind of side, and then it's got this other material here. But it did its job. It was awesome. I didn't wake up with it deflated, which is another good thing. And then if you wanted to, if this ever came open, it's not going to deflate until you press the button, and then it deflates. It comes with a carrying bag, which you can then fold it up and put it in the bag. This was my iHeat this actually buttons closed to help you put it away better, or to help you fold it away. This is great. Put your sleeping bag on top of. keeps you off the ground. Again, not super expensive. It's got this pump here. That's actually a foot pump. Again, you just open up the end and you start pumping away. And this will inflate. And then you can put your sleeping bag on top of it. It's great. I did wake up at one point and it was slightly deflated, but I think the this was undone. You have to do up the end, obviously, to keep the air in, and then you can use the pump. You can either use it with your hands like this, or you can put it down on the ground and pump it, and it will fill up to a nice size. So much better than having to rely on bringing a pump or blowing it up yourself. You just use the foot pump, and it's got a built-in pillow, but for me that wasn't enough. I wanted to get the other pillow on top of that. So once you have it to your desired thickness, you just seal up, obviously, the other end. So you have both seals done up, and there's your part of your sleep system. Keeps you off the ground, keeps you from getting cold because you're off the ground. Your sleeping bag goes on top. Then you just undo it from both ends and it'll deflate. Just like that. And then when you're putting it away, you just wrap it around on itself. It's got clips. You clip it up, you roll it up, you put it back in the thing. This worked just fine. Again, as long as both ends are sealed and stay closed, you won't have an issue. I woke up one morning and it was deflated, but it was because the thing had popped open in the night, so it's just a quick fix and it's done. There wasn't a leak in it, it didn't tear, it lasted the 10 days just fine. So it's the iHeat sleeping pad. It was about $49, I think, on Amazon. There's some that go up to 400 bucks. You don't need those, I'm telling you. Alright, so continuing in the bag, I had my stove. So for this is maybe bigger than some stoves, but I personally like how this is set up. This is a Biolite stove. It does not take gas. You do not have to rely on those gas canisters. My main concern with those is that if you run out of gas, you can't cook anything. This is run off of nature. Sticks, twigs, pieces of wood, pellets, whatever you want. So you can buy this kettle pot for it, which hides the stove. There's a couple of different variations of this stove. This is the original one. So what happens is there's this rechargeable battery, which is a wind turbine as well, which sits on the front of the stove like this, tucks into one of the legs, and then when it's extended, it's fully on there. This is, again, like I said, rechargeable. You plug it into the either the solar panel, or you can plug it into your charging power bank. And what happens is you turn it on, and it blows air in through here, which is where you're going to put your sticks, your twigs, your leaves, your pellets, whatever you're going to start your fire with, and it helps keep the fire going. The fire will start to spin, and then all you do is just keep feeding sticks in it. You fill this up with water. These handles come around, they've got rubber on them so you're not going to burn yourself. It's got a little bowl inside of it. I don't really use this thing at all for anything. You put the lid on with the water, and then this just sits on top. Then what I do is as the fire is working, I'll feed more sticks through these holes in the bottom of the kettle pot. I'll just break the stick small enough and keep feeding, so I don't have to take this off and then keep doing that. It just stays on top and just keep feeding it. I did another video on this, a little bit of more detail if you want to check that out. Once this is done and you shut it off and your fire's out, you can actually pick this thing up by holding on to this honeycomb outside. Now, as long as you don't squeeze it enough to hit the metal that's on the inside, you will definitely burn yourself there, but you can actually pick that up, dump out whatever you need, and then it just folds back up. This comes off, this goes in here, and then it just goes away. So there are other versions of this. This is the original version. There's a new one that has some charging ports on the outside that you can actually charge your devices from the fire, which is cool. And there's even another one. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones. Check them out. Biolite is the company. They make a lot of rechargeable things and kind of environmentally friendly type of products, but this one really stood out to me because you'll never not be able to use this wherever you are. And again, first aid kit, I've got some lures here from hunting deer, and then I've got obviously wipes, toilet paper, and that's pretty much it for that. So the bag is an 80-liter bag. I love it. These zippers are wicked. They're really like, they're covered so that, you know, they're almost protected from the elements. They feel very, very strong. And again, Mystery Ranch stands by their products. You're not going to have an issue. If you do have an issue, you get in touch with them and they'll work through it with you. Yeah, lots of clips, lots of secured stuff. This is awesome. I love this bag. I even took this up in the tree stand hunting. You can really cinch it down. It was still a little big for that, but again, nice to have a bag that you can fully extend to crazy sizes, but then completely tuck away should you need to make it smaller. So that's the Mystery Ranch Beartooth 80. I didn't show you on the inside. There's also a water bladder sleeve on the inside. You can go either way, left or right, when you come out of the back. And then it's got this nice little material which comes around and holds your hose on your strap, so your hose isn't flapping around and getting all in the way or out of the way. So it's great for that. Headlamps. I usually have this Petzl headlamp. Takes 3 AAA batteries. It's super bright. It's awesome. I love it. The only thing is, if you have it on full blast, which I usually always do if I'm using it, unless I'm, you know, just doing something where I need it to be really dim, but most of the time it's at full blast. The batteries don't last a whole heck of a long time. You'll probably get maybe 3 days if you're going in somewhere to make a tree stand, maybe in the dark, and then you're coming out. So if you have it on for maybe an hour or so, maybe about 3 hours a day for a couple of days, you're going to burn the batteries out. The other one that I have is actually rechargeable, which is great, but it doesn't give you any kind of warning when you're going to run out of batteries. It just dies. So that's not cool. I didn't really like that. What else? Paracord. I always have paracord with me in case I need to pull something, lift something up. You can always use paracord, so have that with you. My chest rig is Bino Harness, is Alaska Guide Creations Ravus Harness. I did a more in-depth video about this as well. All of this stuff I've done more in-depth videos on if you want to check those out. This is great. Some people may not like it because it's big. I don't mind that at all. I like having everything that I need to be right here. Everything that I need is in one spot. So it does have a magnetic open and close. It's got this soft felt on the inside. I've got 10x42 Nikon Pro Staff 3S binoculars in here. Very soft, open and close. These flexible harnesses on the side, you don't have to attach them if you don't want to, but they go onto your binoculars. And then there's this flat section here before you get to the bungee. There's a flat section that stays on the sides, which then helps you close the lid. I wish this magnet was a little bit stronger. It does close and stay closed, but you can bump it open. That's just one thing I would change on it. This pocket can get moved around. It comes with this pocket on the bottom. I relocated it to the front, and in here I put my bow release. This is the Wise Choice, Carter Wise Choice. I have this here because it's readily available all the time. Or what I'll do is, if I have this out and on my bow, I'll put my phone in here because it'll fit perfectly in this pocket, just like this. And what I have also used it for is I'll put the camera on and I can prop it up in this front pocket like that and do like a point of view thing if you need to. So that's cool. That works well for me. I really like this pocket. You could add more stuff onto it. The side, I've got a wind checker and my Zoleo Satellite Communicator. We'll get to that in a second. And then on the other side is the rangefinder pouch, where I have my Halo XL 450 rangefinder. And this can clip and unclip. It's got these clips on it. You can easily attach this somewhere else. I could move this to the front. I can move it to the other side. I could put it at the bottom. It's got this elastic thing on the top, which some people might put their phone in, but there's a little bit too much to do that here. I'll just put a pen. If I'm using a pen for something, I'll put it in there. I'll just leave that open for the most part. The back, I put my tags usually in the back here. This has got a little bit of a soft pad to it. It's going to be right up against your chest. Tags go in there. I bought this from Mystery Ranch. This is the Mystery Ranch bear spray holder, and it fit very well on the bottom through the webbing here, and it's a perfect kind of setup. It's exactly what I needed. The back chest strap, the back strap is really nice. I like how thick it is. I like having the thicker straps. These straps I don't really care for. They don't do a whole heck of a lot, and most of the time these little holding pieces for your for the remainder of your strap ends up halfway up here. That's with all kind of Bino harnesses, not just this one, but I like the thicker straps where it matters most, which is great. This is the Zoleo Satellite Communicator. This thing is a lifesaver, literally. What's awesome about this compared to other devices is that it will connect with your phone through the Zoleo app, and you can text with your family, your friends, your loved ones through the satellite communicator when you don't have any cell service. If you find yourself in cell service and you still have this on and you're still using that app, it will connect to your local towers before it actually charges you for using a message. There are plans that you need to buy to be able to use this for messaging. There's 3 or 4 different plans. There's a check-in button. If I press that, it will automatically send a message to predetermined people that I have set up in the app, letting them know that I'm okay. It literally says, I'm okay, and then it has my GPS coordinates. If they click on that message with the coordinates, it'll open up a map and show them exactly where I am. So that's nice to have if you're not just going to have a conversation with them. What's also nice is it has an SOS feature, which is stuck under this button. So there's no accidentally pressing the SOS because it's tucked under here. You have to open this up, and then the SOS button is in there. It's like a embossed button that sticks up from the actual device that you have to press. And even after you press it, I believe it asks you if you meant to press it, and you can text on your phone with the first responders telling them where you are, what the problem is, and it will automatically update your location every 5 minutes. should your phone die and you still hammer the SOS button, it will just keep sending out your location every 5 minutes to the first responder. So even if your phone is dead, this will still work in terms of getting messages out. So I love this thing. I take it with me everywhere. It stays attached to my Bino harness. I know some people have it on their bag. My thing with that is that if I'm ever away from my bag and I need it and I'm hurt, it's going to be useless for me. So my Bino harness does not come off my body when I'm hunting unless I'm done for the day. So in that case, I have it right with me. It's on the side. I can just hit the button to say I'm okay. I can text and have no problem. Or if I absolutely need to, I can hit the SOS button. So that's the Zoleo. And again, I did a longer in-depth video on the Zoleo. If you want to check that out, please do so. Now for food. I am on the keto diet, which means that I don't eat I don't eat any bread, carbs, pastas, things of that nature. Your typical mountain house meals are not they would completely destroy me if I tried to eat those. So I wanted another option, and I found a company, a Canadian company in BC called Wild Edge Keto. And they make a series of backpacking, hunting, hiking, dehydrated meals. And I have tried every single one of these, and they are fantastic. Again, I did a longer video about these. Please check it out if you are interested at all. They are great. And the best part is that they have about 7 ingredients to them. They don't have a laundry list of things in here that you can't even read or understand. Everything in here is healthy for you. This one is the wild bison. It's got bison, ground grass fed. It's got cauliflower, fire roasted tomatoes, ghee, green peppers, capers, onions, and spices. You literally open up the pack, you put in, there's a package of ghee in every single one, because the keto diet you're using fats and protein instead of the carbs. These are high protein, so this for one package, the fat in here is 46 grams, the carbohydrates are 18, but then the fiber is 6. So you subtract the 6 from the 18 to get your net carbs, which would be 12. It's got 7 grams of sugar and 52 grams of protein. This thing is amazing. These are power pack punches of awesome food that I recommend for people who are on the keto diet, or even if you're not on the keto diet and you just want to have something healthy. Wild Edge Keto. Check them out. They're amazing. I had these every day on my trip. There's 4 different types, and they're now coming out with a breakfast, which I have not tried yet, but I'm eager to. So they've got the wild boar, they've got a wild bison. So this is the wild bison. They've got a wild boar, they've got a venison chili, and they've got a Cajun jambalaya. Awesome food. I highly recommend this stuff. It's incredible. Check it out. Healthy, Wild Edge Keto. I also brought these Quest bars. These are the peanut butter cup ones. They're all right. They do have maltodextrin in them, I believe. Yeah, which sometimes can upset your stomach. So I ate a couple of them. I didn't really, I wasn't a huge fan. So they are good though. Element electrolyte packs are amazing. Drink Element, I believe is their handle on Instagram. Check these out. These are potassium, magnesium, and sodium packets. These will keep you from crashing in the field when you're hunting or hiking or backpacking or whatever you're doing. These are great. I usually take them in the morning, or if I'm done a huge hike, I've burned a lot of calories and I'm kind of exhausted, I'll have another one of these, and it's like a recharge of your batteries. It's amazing. So I highly recommend these. This is the citrus salt. This is the citrus salt, which is one of my favorites, and also the raspberry salt, which is another one of my favorites. Check them out. Element electrolytes, they're amazing. Very good for you. Now getting to my bow. This is a Prime Nexus 4. This is the flagship bow for 2021. I've been shooting this for a couple of years now. I love this thing. It's amazing. 34 inches axle to axle. It's got a 6-inch brace height. It's 343 feet per second. It's a great bow. It's incredibly well balanced. It sits very comfortably in your hand. I can't say enough good things about Prime. The fit and finish is outstanding. Completely reliable. It's got a underneath the grip is nano gel, which is used in astronaut spacesuits to keep them warm. So basically, as long as your hand is on this handle, the heat transfers from your hand into the aerogel, sorry, not nano gel, into the aerogel, and keeps your grip warm. If you've ever grabbed an aluminum riser in the cold winter, it's freezing. It's like trying to hold on to a piece of ice. This keeps the handle warm, not overly hot, but I'd say warm. But for it to work, you have to be holding it, and you have to be holding it with your bare hand. So even though it is easier to pick up with that handle on, the warming capabilities only take effect really when you're holding onto it. I've got a black gold 5-pin rush sight, which has been great. AAE Mountain Series 10-inch stabilizer, which I was shooting an 8-inch stabilizer before. I find the 10 is just that much better. Tight spot quiver, can't say enough good things about tight spot. I don't think there's any quiver on the market that gets this close to your riser than a tight spot quiver. It's amazing. It's got 2 points of contact, so your arrows will never fall out of this quiver. It's amazing. So for arrows, this year I switched from the Easton Axis to the Easton Sonic 6.0s. So instead of the 5mm, this is the 6mm. I really love these arrows. I love the size of the arrows. I love the fact that the insert does not have to get recessed in. It literally butts up to the end of the arrow, so you don't have to have any issues about pushing the insert too far or not far enough. It's a great setup. On the end, I've got a Crimson Talon Croc broadhead, single bevel, 150 grain. These things are wicked sharp, are awesome. I was testing the prototypes for this company when they were about to come out, and they're absolutely outstanding. Huge hole, they make a huge hole, they're incredible. On the back end, I've got a boning 4-inch wrap with 3 AAE max stealth vanes, and then I've got a nocturnal lighted nock. So total arrow weight for me from hunting is 548 grains. All right, that's it. That's all. I think I've covered everything here on the table. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, please feel free to reach out. I'll answer any questions you may have to the best of my ability, and if I can help find you the answer, then I will. A lot of this stuff I did a lot of research on before I bought it, so I highly recommend you look into the things that you want to buy before you buy them. YouTube can be a great place for that, but you also got to be careful. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I bought all of this stuff myself, and it's all been fantastic, and I love it. And if I can help you in any way, please feel free to reach out. So that's it. If you have any questions, again, reach out. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for more videos like this. It's really helping out the channel. I'm doing really well, and there's going to be a lot more coming in the future, and there's going to be a lot of changes coming for 2024. There's going to be a new bow and new arrows and a whole bunch of new stuff that's going to be on this table come 2024. So Stay tuned for those and more videos coming in the future. And thanks for stopping in and checking out what we have to offer, and we'll see you on the next one.